very democratic. Yeah.
Y'all are unmuted, by the way. That was okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, the members that we get, I mean, everybody's struggling financially just to stay afloat, you know? That's one of the reasons why I'm going back to school. I've been out of school too long to pass the licensure exam again. It was 2010. If it's after 10 years, you can't just... Well, I'm going to do this doctorate program, actually. It's with American International University, which is in Springfield, Massachusetts. And they've been around since 1845. But it's an online program, and I've already had all these classes. It's just, they're going to be at the doctoral level. And it will let me, all the changes that have happened in therapy and stuff, I will get knowledge of. Because the DSM, I was using the DSM, if you remember, when it was Burgundy. You remember how good it was? And they've completely changed the classification system now. You know, they're using the word neurodivergent and all these.
Hi, Deborah.
But I was telling Betsy, until I realized how I think, that my depression and anxiety was really because I've been to all this therapy and I was trying to change thinking, but I think differently. So I don't need to change the way I think. I need to change the way I cope with my thinking. Like I think I told you, I asked you if you, in that text, I was worried that I had done something to upset you. Well, and I know I didn't, but by asking you that and answering, I got rid of it. And it never occurred to me that I need to do that with people because I let it sit and stew. And
Hi, it's me, Paul Dalzell. I am the worship coordinator of this, the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Charleston. Welcome all of you, our members, our friends, and if this is your first time here, we welcome you and thank you for joining us today. We come together today to worship on lands the Shawnee, Cherokee, Delaware, and Iroquoian nations, including the Seneca and Mingo, used as hunting grounds. Before that, the Adena culture flourished in this area from about 1000 to 200 BCE. That culture is responsible for the remarkable earthwork burial mounds like the Creel Mound in South Charleston. We should also acknowledge that we are on land that was once a slave plantation, as was most of this land west of the Elk River. Although at that time in Charleston proper, which was east of the Elk, most households had at least one house slave. You came here looking for something this morning. It might have been a connection with others, a community, a place to ground yourself, inspiration, or refuge from a world gone mad. Whatever brought you here, we are glad it did. Today's Unitarian Universalists are non-creedal, deliberately pluralist, and unambiguously and unapologetically progressive. We believe everyone has inherent worth and dignity, and that everything is interconnected. The crux of this faith is to do good and get better. When we gather to worship in this place, with all of our differences, we shape what is of worth to us. To gather in community, to sit together, to sing together, to listen, and to find peace. Please know that all of us welcome you. And we typically do that in song. So please join us in singing our welcome song. We sing it through twice. And if you feel comfortable doing so, greet those around you with a smile, a nod, or a hello. The words are in your order of service and on the screens.
Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you.
Please check your insert for goings on here at UUC this coming week and in the near future. From Spiral Moon Grove, join us after the service today at 1 p.m. for Lunissa and a ritual on the UUC lawn. All are welcome. Please join us. Also, Save a Life Day packing for 2026 will happen right here at UUC in this room during the week of August 11th through August 16th. A detailed schedule was in the weekly newsletter and is included in your order of service. We are relying on multiple volunteers to turn UUC into the Save a Life Day beginning for the entire country. Last year, right from this room, we shipped hundreds of boxes of life-saving supplies to multiple counties in every state in this nation. Please come and help that week if you are able, and if not, plan to attend our day of service for Save a Life Day on Sunday, August 16th, so that you can be part of this truly monumental occasion. We'll now begin the formal worship service with our chalice lighting. This morning we have Why We're Here by Eric Walker Winkstrom. Please read it in unison with me as Maria lights our chalice. Here today, in this place, and with these people, may we listen so we can hear. May we hear so that we can feel. May we feel so that we can know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves and this world. May this chalice we light our way. Y'all didn't say a word. Is it the wrong one? No, it isn't. It is different, isn't it? Whoops. Probably wrong on here too then, huh? Because I took it from this. Okay. Please rise in voice, body, or spirit as you are willing and able. For our first song for all, We Belong to One Another.
This is from our new hymnal.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. This is from our new hymnal, but it's a very familiar hymn tune, so you'll know it, but the words are very much in line with our service today. We belong to one another, to each other we are bound, as we build a world together, full of joy and we have found. What we are, we owe to each others, when they need us we respond. We belong to one another, and we hold a common bond. We rely on one another at the dawning of our days, when we learn from those around us how to live in loving ways. As we grow, we need each other and the gifts that we can share. as our lives come to their ending, how we hate each other's care. We give thanks for one another, for each heart and hand and face. We are grateful for the blessings that infuse our lives with grace. May we offer our abundance as we're given, may we give in our thanks for one another. May we help each other live.
I looked ahead, the rest of it matches. For many of us, what makes us special is that we are a community. By sharing our joys and our celebrations, our sorrows and our concerns, our peace and our needs, our community becomes closer and stronger. And that is the community we all need in these times. I'm going to run back and grab the book. We have a joy, had a really great ritual, and got a great blessing out of it, and there was a marriage proposal. And thank you for those that called our federal representatives, our lobbying for climate, sometimes was for climate, was well received by all. And listening to Austin sing, "Sugar, ah, honey bunny, you are my candy girl, and you got me loving you," and I bet it was better than that. We have a concern for our continuing political mess in Washington, and as I often do, for this and for all the communities that we are a part, that is a joy. Let me try again. For all those who are unhoused at this past week, and for the sad hearts of those who condemn them and make their lives harder. For all these joys and sorrows, both spoken and those that remain in our hearts unspoken, may we remember shared joy is multiplied and shared sadness is diminished. Our reading today is A Culture of Care by Zach Norris. There are two ways to think about safety. There's a fear-based way and a care-based way. The fear-based model defines safety only in terms of being free from crime and criminals, which is limited and limiting, what I call the framework of fear. It employs four key elements: systematic deprivation, extensive and expensive systematic suspicion, cruel punishment, and other permanent isolation from the rest of society. The framework of fear has led to the traumatization of not just the individuals who have been targeted, dehumanized, and criminalized, but the traumatization of entire communities, unfathomable devastations that will be decades in the reckoning. Because trauma is as much a chief cause of violence as the result of violence, our current fear-based system paradoxically generates more harm than it prevents in a never-ending cycles of trauma. This moment presents the opportunity to take action toward a culture of caring and policies of caring. A culture of care prevents many harms from happening in the first place by investing in a social safety net, resources, by building our capacity to relate to one another across differences, relationships, and by increasing our sense of skin in the game with more vibrant engagement on every level. Care-based safety also means we address harms in ways that hold people accountable and bring about healing, accountability. Safety is not tied to our capacity to watch our neighbors, but rather based on our capacity to truly look out for one another. We are safer when we act together than we let ourselves be divided. Now, please join me in reading our covenant to each other. I know this didn't change. Love is the spirit of our faith and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Our offering words today are What We're Doing Here Matters by Shara Stone. What we're doing here matters. In a world that can feel disconnected, this is a place where people choose to show up for one another, to listen, to care, to build something real together. This community is sustained not just by beliefs, but by participation, by the ways that we give, our time, our presence, our talent, and yes, our money. This offering is one way we practice that. One way we say we will take care of this place and we will take care of each other. If you are able, we invite you to give generously and in a way that feels meaningful to you. For our offertory today, we have Hello in There by John Prine. And let's take a moment to sit and breathe, to meditate, to ponder, to pray, but most of all to sit here with one another in community. Please relax in your chairs. Plant your feet on the floor. Square your shoulders. Feel free to close your eyes or unfocus them or gaze into our chalice flame. Breathe. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Settle into this moment, this space. Our meditation words today are For All That Is Our Life by Liz Weber. Spirit of life, help us to be present with all that is our life, both our deepest sorrows and our greatest joys, so that we can truly live, engaging fully in our own life and in our community. Spirit of community, help us know how linked we are, how each one of our cares touches us all. Help us to ask for support when we are in need and offer our support to others when we are able, so that we may rest in the solace of one another's love. Spirit of love, help us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves, so that we might fully embody love and resist hatred. Spirit of resistance, help us to stick up for what is right, even when we are tired or afraid. Help us to dream of the world as it should be and act to bring that world about. Help us to find hope each day. Spirit of hope, help us through this day and each day. Help us to be present for all that is our life. We're all getting older, aren't we? I'm not a big fan of it, but it is better than the alternative, right? For some, like Austin Stone, that means gaining new skills and abilities she didn't have before, learning new things and thinking thoughts she hadn't had before. For others, like myself, it means we move a little slower. We ache a little more. We're not quite as strong as we once were. We might develop health issues or chronic problems that were completely unexpected. It might also mean that we have less patience with, well, bullshit. That we have less tolerance for bullies and nonsense. But since the only alternative to getting older is death, and I, for one, am not done yet, I reckon that I have to accept it. Beyond that, we as humans need someone to care about us too, don't we? Friends, spouses, family, whether by blood or chosen. So what does that mean? Caring for others means showing kindness, offering emotional support, and taking helpful action to improve another person's well-being. It is rooted in empathy and a genuine desire to connect with and support those around you. Some of the core elements are empathy, understanding and feeling what another person goes through, action, doing small or big tasks to help and protect others, and kindness, treating people with warmth, respect, and affection. And it matters because it builds deep and strong bonds with family and friends. It makes both the helper and the person receiving help feel happy and safe. And it creates a friendly and supportive community. It makes both the helper and the person receiving help feel happy and safe. Doing good by being good feels good. Did you know that UUC is a Care and Connections team? You would if you read the weekly newsletter. Sarah doesn't just create it every week for herself and for me to steal the announcements out from. Our Care and Connections Committee is Deborah Beatty, Laura Bickett, and Becky Flaherty. Their numbers and email addresses are in the newsletter, as well as the adjunct members who are available with advance notice to provide transportation. That's Michael Foster, Steve Goodman, and Ian Gerard. The purpose of the Care and Connections Committee is to connect members and friends as needed with resources and to make phone calls and send notes to identified individuals to see if they need any assistance, like meals or transportation, or just someone to talk to. Particular attention is made to those in our community who are experiencing illness, convalescence, loss, transition, or other challenges. Please contact them if you or someone you know needs some assistance or just a bit of kind attention. You may contact committee members by phone, email, or in person. Please also contact them if you would like to be on the committee. New members are needed and more than welcome. Deborah and Becky, could you stand and wave so that people know who you are? Please. Not everybody. They may not all. Caring, whether for ourselves, for our elders, or even for ourselves, for one more time, caring, whether for others, for our elders, or even for ourselves, all boils down to compassion. Cambridge Dictionary defines compassion as a strong feeling of sympathy and sadness for the suffering or bad luck of others and a wish to help them. Whereas Merriam-Webster defines it as a sympathetic consciousness of others' distress together with a desire to alleviate it. Which then led me to empathy. Empathy is defined as the action of understanding, being aware of, being sensitive to, and vicariously experiencing the feelings, thoughts, and experience of another. But it does not necessarily have the wish or desire to help or alleviate them of it. Empathy has been in the news of late because some conservative Christian leaders have said that it is bad because it can be toxic or untethered, leading believers to compromise biblical truth and accept progressive cultural shifts. Critics like author Allie Beth Stuckey and Joe Rigney argue that emotional identification with others is manipulated to bypass moral boundaries. They argue that empathy is an affirmation of sin. They argue that feeling another person's emotional pain can pressure Christians into validating or normalizing behaviors the Bible labels as sinful, such as LGBTQIA+ lifestyles or abortion access. That it's displacing objective truth. Some contend that empathy places subjective human feelings above absolute scriptural law and moral clarity. Also, that it is a progressive political tool. Figures on the Christian right claim that terms like toxic empathy describe how progressive movements exploit compassion to advance social and racial justice agendas or lenient immigration policies, and that it shows a weakness and disordered loyalties. Certain theological and cultural critiques view empathy as a form of emotional weakness that disrupts traditional or prioritized structures of loyalty to God, family, and nation. That understanding the feelings of others is a sin and a weakness. I feel I spoke enough about fascism wrapped in a flag and carrying a cross, as Sinclair Lewis put it, or Christian nationalism 2 weeks ago. So let's move on to psychology. Dr. Stephen Taylor in Psychology Today says, empathy is one of human beings' highest qualities. Empathy is the root of most of the behavior that we associate with goodness. It's the root of compassion and altruism, self-sacrifice and charity. Conversely, a lack of empathy is the root of most destructive and violent behavior. In fact, everything that we associate with evil. A lack of empathy with victims makes crime possible. A lack of empathy with other human groups makes warfare possible. A lack of empathy enables psychopaths to treat other human beings callously as objects who have no value except as a means of satisfying their desires. You can think of empathy as a channel which connects human beings to one another. Compassion is what flows through the channel, and the result of this compassion is altruism, selfless action which aims to alleviate the suffering or further the development of others. What is perhaps less well recognized, Dr. Tyler writes, is that there are two fundamentally different kinds of empathy. The first is what might be called shallow empathy. In fact, it's the most common definition of empathy as the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, or see the world through someone else's eyes, or to read their emotions. In other words, empathy is seen as a cognitive ability along the same lines as the ability to imagine future scenarios or to solve problems based on previous experience. As the psychologist Paul Gilbert points out, empathy in this sense doesn't necessarily imply goodness. According to Gilbert, empathy is what makes torture possible. Without empathy, a torturer would have no concept of the suffering he is causing. Because he can put himself in another person's shoes, he knows that he is causing pain. The second type of empathy is what I call deep empathy. This is more than a cognitive ability. It's the ability to not just imagine, but to actually feel what other people are experiencing. It's the ability to actually enter the mind space of another person so that you can sense their feelings and emotions. In a sense, your identity merges with theirs. The separateness between you and them fades away. Your self-boundary melts away, so that in a sense, or to an extent, you become them. If you experience deep empathy, then it becomes impossible to inflict pain or suffering on other people, at least intentionally. In deep empathy, you recoil from another person's pain the same way that you recoil from your own pain. You are reluctant to harm them in the same way that you are reluctant to harm yourself. One of the interesting things about these two types of empathy is that they are not necessarily related. This is clear from Paul Gilbert's example of torture. With deep empathy, torture is impossible. At the same time, it's possible that a person may possess deep empathy and lack shallow empathy to a degree. That is, they may have a strong ability to feel with other people and sense their suffering, and at the same time not be particularly adept at reading emotional signals or seeing from another person's perspective. I admit, says Dr. Tyler, that this may be true of myself. This is possible because these two types of empathy have different sources. One is cognitive, the other is affective. As well as the terms deep and shallow empathy, they could be referred to as cognitive and affective empathy. The major moral teachings of all world religions is treat other people as you would like to be treated yourself. In Judaism, this is expressed in the saying, that which is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow. That is the whole Torah. In Hinduism, the concept of daya means that we should attempt to alleviate the suffering of all other human beings, including strangers and enemies, because they are part of our own being. And this is a moral imperative which stems directly from deep empathy, and one which stems from the highest part of our nature. I like that science and those religious messages a lot better than the pseudo-religiosity of the Christian nationalists, don't you? It even works well with my humanist leanings. I feel that we must have empathy to show compassion. Let's go back to psychology today, but this time Dr. Diana Hill, in an article titled, "What is Compassion and Why Should We Care?" she says, it's not whether pain will show up, it's how we'll respond when it does. Caring is fundamental in our human nature. Caring for ourselves helps us navigate the little pains like minor parenting mistakes, and the big ones like breakups, illness, trauma, and loss. Caring for others connects us. It motivates us to reach out and help, and gives our life purpose and meaning. When you open your heart to life's challenges and offer care, you are engaging in compassion. Even though our brains evolved to care for our own well-being and that of others, many of us find it difficult to stay present and loving when faced with discomfort. Compassion is a skill set, and most of us still need to learn how to better be there for ourselves and care for others. We all do things we regret, face sudden bad news, and feel the stress of life's uncertainty. Compassion is a value that can anchor you and be an active force to help you to stay present, engaged, and open-hearted as you move through the challenges of living a human life. Compassion can feel foreign or challenging for many of us. Our instinct is to avoid our pain and sidestep other people's suffering. For example, do you distract yourself or check out from uncomfortable feelings? You criticize yourself when you make a mistake. Want to avoid feeling anxious, sad, or angry? Look away when others are hurting. Do you have a hard time accepting help? Feel disconnected from your body? Have difficulty forgiving yourself or others? Instead of withdrawing from what is painful with compassion, instead of withdrawing from what is painful with compassion, you turn toward challenges and offer yourself and others your attention and support. Compassion is a flow. Being there for yourself will help you better be there for others. And giving and receiving care from others will strengthen you, energize you, and offer you a sense of purpose. Now, I admit to feeling many of those feelings Dr. Hill asked about. I'm getting better at some of them, but I still have a problem with criticizing myself when I make a mistake. I do have a hard time accepting help, and I have difficulty forgiving myself. I call that little voice in my head Paranoid Paul. And frankly, he's both mean and a butthead. I think he was raised by my dad, which makes sense. I think, unsurprisingly, that Mr. John Prine described compassion, empathy, and caring quite succinctly when he sang, waiting for someone to say, hello in there, hello. That's what we're all wanting, right? To be seen, to be heard. So how do we show compassion to others? From verywellmind.com, I found this from Kendra Cherry, MSED, how to flex those compassion muscles. Even when you feel compassion, knowing how to best help or show your support is not always easy. You might feel awkward or uncomfortable or worry about making the situation worse. When emotions feel heavy and you aren't quite sure how to help, there are several different steps you can take to show compassion to others. Speak with kindness. Apologize when you've made a mistake. Listen carefully and without judgment. Be encouraging. Offer to help someone with a task. Be happy for someone else's success. Accept people for who they are. Forgive people for making mistakes. Be respectful. Express gratitude and appreciation. Be patient. When you practice compassion, you start by empathizing with another person's situation. You look at what they're going through without judgment and imagine how you might feel in their situation. Again, the difference between compassion and empathy is that with empathy, you feel another's pain, but compassion drives you to take action to help that person. Cherry goes on to say, one of the reasons why compassion can be so effective is that both giving and receiving can improve your psychological well-being. Being the recipient of compassion can help you get the support you need to carry you through a difficult time. But giving compassion to others can be just as rewarding. For example, researchers have found that giving money to others who need it actually produces greater happiness rewards than spending it on ourselves. And that helping others doesn't just feel good, it can also help you live longer. Engaging in activities such as volunteering to help those you feel compassion for can improve your longevity. Research has found that people who volunteer out of concern for others tend to live longer, healthier lives than those who do not. Also, evidence indicates that the happiness that comes from living a life of purpose and meaning, one that is fueled by kindness and compassion, can contribute to better health. Researchers have found that people who experience what is known as eudaimic happiness, or the kind of happiness that comes from living a meaningful life that involves helping others, experience lower levels of depression, stronger immunity, and less inflammation. And she concludes with, compassion improves relationships. Compassion can also help you build the social support and connections that are important for mental well-being. It can also protect your interpersonal relationships. Research suggests that compassion is a key predictor of the success and satisfaction of relationships. According to one study published in the journal Emotion, compassion is the single most important predictor of a happy relationship.
You're walking down the street sometime and spot some hollow ancient eyes. Please don't just pass them by and stare as if you didn't care. Say hello in there. Hello.
Thank you. I invite you to once again rise in voice, body, or spirit as you are willing and able for our last song for all, There Is No Fear in Love by Elizabeth Norton.
This is a new song from our hymnal, and we're going to do the melody first, and then we'll go back and do it with the accompaniment. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
There is no fear in love. There is no fear in love. But perfect love, it casts out fear. There is no fear in love. I place my hand in yours. Will you place your hand in mine? Together let us witness here, there is no fear in love.
Simple melody, and I'm gonna do the intro, and we're gonna go into it. It changes keys 2 times, but you won't realize it. But it'll change keys. So.
There is no fear in love. There is no fear in love. But perfect love, it casts out fear. There is no fear in love. I place my hand in yours. Will you place your hand in mine? Together let us witness here, there is no fear in love. And let us join us all, together loud and strong, to melody and harmony, there is no fear in love. So let our voices ring. Yes, let our voices ring. For justice, truth, and equity, there is no fear in love. There is no fear in love. There is no fear in love. For justice, truth, and cast out fear, there is no fear in love. Sorry, I sang the wrong words at the end.
Please be seated for our closing words, which are today, Be True, Be Well, Be Loving by Cynthia Landrum. We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection, our concerns, or our care for each other, our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith continues until we are together again, friends. Be strong, be well, be true, and be loving. Sam and Jamie will now perform our postlude.
All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well.
All shall be
and
well.
all shall be
And all
well.
shall be
And all manner of
And all
things shall
manner
be
of things shall be
well. All shall be well.
shall be
And all
well.
shall be
And all
well.
shall
And
be
all
well.
manner
And
of
all
things
manner
shall
of
be
things shall be
well.
well.
Now let's sing our recessional together as I extinguish the chalice. This will end our formal time of worship together. The words are in your order of service and on the screens.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Thank you for sharing this time.
Thank you, Tammy. Huh? You did good. Don't worry about it. Huh? Well, whenever you're here, please